Hey everyone, I know that it's been a very long time since I have done a building a business episode. Things have been different with all of the change that's been happening. So I just kind of wanted to talk a minute about just how I've pivoted with COVID happening and how things have changed just kind of with my life in general and how that's affected my business. So most of you know that I also have a day job. I do communications for the Utah Department of Health. And with COVID happening, I've had to take on some additional responsibilities with that role there. So that has taken up a lot of my time, hence why I haven't done a video for a while. With that said, once we started kind of quarantining our family, we figured we needed to do a kid schedule. Like that was one of the things that we realized, because both Thomas and I work, and we both work for the health department. And so there were times that we were both, in demand with our jobs and needing to address things with the public and whatnot. So we established a routine, a schedule for the boys, and started doing these educational things in the morning, in the afternoon, and then there's additional like playtimes, crafts and things, but we did do these educational activities every day. And as I was kind of working through this whole COVID thing, I realized I could not sell paper plates. I just couldn't do it. It didn't feel right in my heart, in my gut. I just couldn't do it. I ended up doing a Zoom session with other business owners, and we had a good discussion about how they're navigating COVID and their businesses and how they're staying afloat. And one girl gave some really good kind of hopeful, not advice, but I guess a statement rather. But what she was saying is she was hoping that all of the birthdays that are taking place and all of the holidays that are taking place while we are quarantined for COVID, she's hoping that once things are let up and people are starting to socialize again, that she'll have an influx of orders. And so I kind of took that to heart and realized I could put everything else on hold until COVID kind of ran its course a bit and we were kind of getting back to gathering. That was one thing that I really struggled with. As you know, my mission for Hint of Lavender is to inspire people to gather the ones they love in their home. Kind of hard to do while you're social distancing and quarantining and all of that jazz. So the way that I pivoted my business, especially for the months of March and April, was I decided to focus in on the two holidays, so Easter and then Mother's Day. I did a few posts and content around that. Everything else was centered around this idea of having fun with the people you are currently gathered with, aka your family. And so all of those activities that I did with the boys, I just started documenting them. So there was like a 31 scavenger hunt during a family car ride. There was an animal tracks and safari hunt. There were so many, and I posted them because I really felt like my role as a business owner was not to currently make sales. Luckily, it's just me and an intern right now. And so I didn't need to worry about people's salary and people losing their jobs, thankfully. So for me, I felt like it was very easy for me to kind of pivot my focus a bit while still maintaining my mission, adjusting it a bit for this global situation that we found ourselves in. And so for me, that felt really aligned with who I am, giving people inspiration to still have fun and still appreciate the people that are around them. And I felt like I got a really good response from it. It was interesting. My reach on Pinterest actually almost tripled, which was interesting. There's a lot of things that can contribute to that. A lot of people are home, more people are on their phones, whatnot. So, now that things are starting to change a bit, I don't know where you guys all are at, but in Utah, we've changed from a high risk to a moderate risk. So we're able to start slowly seeing people again. The recommendation right now is that you still social distance, so 6 feet apart, wear masks if you can't social distance, good hygiene, wash your hands, all of those things. And so while my family and a lot of people that I know were still kind of staying distant, there are a few, like I did get together with my brother and his family just because our kids had been missing each other. One of the recommendations too is that you only get together with people who have had the same level of, not quarantining, but have practiced the same level of recommendations that you have. And so my brother's up at Hill Air Force Base. He's in the Air Force, and they were pretty much limited to the Air Force, so they weren't seeing people. We hadn't been seeing people, so we kind of felt like it was a safe situation. Anyways, but now the other recommendation is that the group size has grown from 10 to 20, which is good. So I don't know, everyone's kind of different where they're at and how they're going to be slowly integrating back into social situations. But I figure now I want to start providing the content again in a way that feels right to me. And so I'm super excited to announce that I've been working on a new project, and it is something, it's been about 6 months in the making, but I'm doing gathering cards. That's actually what they're called, they're gathering cards. But this is just a printout version of them. But there are these different cards that invoke conversation. So the idea initially was you get a bunch of your girlfriends, you go to a Hint of Lavender, grab a cocktail recipe, and then you go through and you ask these cards, or these questions rather, that are on the cards. So half the deck's fun, like what's your go-to drink? What's a fashion trend that you wish would come back? Things like that you can kind of get to know your friends with. And then there are like deeper questions, like perfect one right here. If you could tell yourself, your younger self, one thing, what would it be? So the idea behind these cards are that you get to know each other on a more meaningful level, and it still inspires this act of gathering and doing something fun with a group of people. And so I actually, while I've been in COVID mode, I have a manufacturer printing them out. So I should be getting them in about a week or two. And when I do, I will definitely do another video. But the idea right now is to inspire people to still purchase a deck, but do Zoom calls with friends, because you can still have the cards and pick them, and everyone, at their home can make a cocktail, and you can still connect and deepen those relationships, and you can still gather. It's just in a digital way. So speaking of digital too, another area that I've pivoted my business was literally right as COVID was starting. I was doing these gathering events in the community. So people could come. The first one was going to be a dinner party. So you'd come, have drinks, relax. We were going to play some of the card games with my little cheaper printouts, but get to know you type game. And then I was going to go through kind of like a presentation Q&A type thing about how to plan a dinner party. COVID ruined that because all of the community locations closed. So now I'm kind of I'm figuring out how to do that digitally. So like I said before, I got together over a Zoom with some other small business owners, and I want to try to invoke that. So another pivot that I'm taking is offering a service digitally. So gathering people virtually, which I think is a great idea. So more on that. If you're interested in it though, you can either IM me through Katie McMahon, go to Hint of Lavender, wherever you are connected to me. You can DM me or email me for more information on that. But I hope that kind of answers how I've pivoted my business in this global change.